Welcome to Flashback Friday on Harvesting Wisdom. Today, we revisit a powerful moment from our archives that continues to inspire sustainable change. Let's journey back and rediscover the wisdom that shapes our future.
Hello and welcome again to another podcast of Harvesting Wisdom. And we've got some wise people here again today.
Thank you.
We've got Mr. David Zachary Bush.
I'll take it, though.
Liliana Campos. Background, David, you were from Chicago.
Yes.
You've been here in Arizona. You got brought into MIT.
Yes.
I'll let you guys explain MIT because it's not MIT in Boston.
Yes.
But
yes.
you guys are a STEM school.
Yes.
STEM charter. Interested in science, interested in the environment, and you're now partnering with us. So, David, you're also told me that you're kind of an expert and a hobbyist and in the aquarium space.
Yes.
Which we need to build some for our
Definitely.
educational stuff that we're doing as well. So
Absolutely.
walk me through that.
Yeah.
Start with you.
Thank you for that intro. So, my name's David Zachary Bush. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I graduated from University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and I'm actually here in Phoenix, mainly for the opportunity to work at MIT. MIT is a STEM-focused high school and magnet school as well. So they've got 7th and 8th graders, and I teach 7th and 8th grade, and I'm over some of the senior projects as well. But I teach engineering, biology, and physical science at MIT in Maricopa, which is the Maricopa Institute of Technology.
Okay.
So as we stated before, we're a STEM-focused school, so science, technology, engineering, math. You can learn anything from drones to agriculture, essentially.
And you're an ag teacher.
So I'm an ag teacher. So my certification is in food production. I'm sorry, it's actually agriculture first, food production, and natural resources. So essentially with that, I teach people how to grow their own food, students how to grow their own food. And I also have a business where I am a aquatic life support engineer, AKA I design ecosystems. I'm an aquarium designer. And essentially I wrote up a self-sustainable plan to be able to utilize the space at MIT to be able to grow our own food on the side and just utilize any space that we possibly can. And that actually was funded through ASU, the STEM scholarship program. Me, along with 2 other scholars that actually teach at MIT, were awarded the scholarship, and now we are just executing ultimately a very large self-sustainable project.
Wow.
So we are partnering with you to...
I can't imagine a better fit for us than MIT.
Yeah, literally. It's perfect. Lily is helping us. She's going to talk to us about her eco bricks. She is one of our self-sustainable agriculture superstars here at MIT, and she is leading some of the efforts for the Iron Garden is what we're calling it. Wow. That's the large project. Yeah.
So Lillian, walk me through your experience. Okay, what grade level are you in?
I'm a senior.
A senior.
18.
Okay, and how many years have you been at the school?
I've been at MIT for 4 years. My first year was on COVID, but I still learned.
And what attracted you to this school? I mean, you live in that area and it seemed to be the better school, or what do you think?
So it was a new school. So my brother had gone there 2 years prior. So he's 2 years older than me, now graduated from there. And he kind of told me about his experience there because it was a small school. At first, it was a very close-knit community, and he liked how STEM-oriented it was and how attentive all the teachers were because they were able to with the amount of students they had. And we're still a small school, but we're definitely growing. But I still say all the teachers are very attentive to your learning.
What does your brother do now?
He's a pilot.
Wow.
Yes. And
STEM is STEM, right?
Yes.
We encourage
Yes.
technological things. I mean,
Yes.
climbing up into a tube.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So he's got his private pilot's license already, and he's going into taking some more exams, some some exams that would get him to fly cross country on his own.
Oh, okay.
He's shooting for the stars, shooting for to fly for like Southwest, American Airlines, like those big planes. So
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
She didn't even tell me that. That's so ironic. We actually have an aerospace program now that
Oh, no
started this
kidding.
year. We have flight simulators in the engineering lab. And we actually have one of my friends is a fellow pilot here in Arizona that's going to come and talk to the students soon. So those are the types of things that we do.
Interesting. You know,
Yeah.
we have two aerospace engineer grads working for soil, seed, and water.
Wow.
And they are, you know, advanced
Yeah.
technical thinkers.
Yeah.
They're doing all kinds of programming for. Rodolfo just created one for all of our equipment that tracks all of the equipment using Airtable, which is a relatively new tool that kind of is this unifying database, like on steroids.
Wow.
And he's using a lot of AI, and we do the same thing with our product line in soil, seed, and water. And it's a great way. Everything is in one place, so we have lots of ingredients, of organic ingredients and formulas and blends that we use.
Right.
So we keep an inventory on the system that he has as we're manufacturing stuff and we need
So
things. But
interesting.
we know on that we also have all the vendors and everything else. So when we need something, it's like an auto
Right.
response. And he's created some kind of cool frequently asked questions stuff, but chat boxes. So if farmers or gardeners want to know, about our products and they've got an interest in our products, we have messaging decks that describe all of the nutrients and that kind of thing. But also, if they call or write in, we ask them if they've done a soil or a water analysis, how big their farm is, what they're trying to grow, what issues they might have.
Yeah.
With that analysis, it goes into our system, and the AI actually immediately responds with, look, you're low on nitrogen,
Right.
you're sandy soil, you need to add in these products to retain moisture and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of this wild thing, but it's all about automation,
Yeah.
right? A lot of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And he has a drone, we fly drones. We've given a drone to our community in Malawi and another one in Zimbabwe
Yeah.
to be able to track everything from here. So it's kind of a cool thing. But sorry, I interrupted your whole
No,
thing.
you're good.
Because we talked about your brother and everything else. So tell me about these bricks, the
So-
eco bricks. What makes a brick eco, and how do you use it?
An eco brick is kind of unlike its name. It's made of plastic, and it's a way to recycle single-use plastics that
That's
might
great.
end up in landfills. One of the main problems that I've run into is that the plastic, if you were to just put them in the ground, the chemicals that are from these single-use plastics, they may seep into the ground. So I played around with putting it in concrete to not only reduce the amount of concrete because of the excessive CO2 emissions that come from creating concrete, and to replace it with these plastics. And my experiments prior were to just test the durability of this, and I found that adding like chicken wire and concrete and these eco bricks create a very strong and durable brick. And then my idea to be able to implement this into the environment was to seal it so the chemicals from the concrete don't leak into the land.
So how are you? What do you shred these plastic? Single-use
So-
water
oh, right,
bottles?
sorry.
Which is like the curse of humanity right now.
Yeah.
These
Yes.
these
So-
water bottles.
Yeah,
I didn't
they
even
are.
realize that
They're a
this
big
was
problem.
Your base. So
Yeah.
so how do you actually process or manufacture that?
So it's really simple, actually. It's you take your water bottles, you take off the wrapper, and you put a bunch of tiny wrappers inside the water bottle, and you compact it. So any chip bags, so like that aluminum, any like
Garbage.
plastic bags, garbage.
Yeah.
You take your water
Non-recyclable
bottle,
garbage, pretty much. right?
non-recyclable,
Plastic
non-reusable,
compost,
single
essentially.
use.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you compact it.
You shove it into the water bottle as tight as you can, and it becomes like a solid brick, and then you layer that.
But it's the shape of a bottle
Yeah,
is
it's
a
a water
tube,
bottle.
and now you got a bunch of stuff in it, extremely jammed. Do you compress that at all, or do you just use that brick as is?
So I try it to the best of my ability. I grab like a stick or a metal, then I just try and make sure it's nice and down. But Morgenstern actually mentioned using heat to compact that plastic even more. So I haven't messed with that, but I probably will even after I leave MIT, just because I'm curious to see how.
You know, it's interesting, and I'll kind of turn you on. This year, we Soul Seed and Water. My partner Dan has been working in the hemp space for like 10 years, and it's been emerging. You know, with the Ag Bill 10 years ago or whatever it was, it's finally legal to start growing hemp again. And hemp is a product you can create hempcrete, right, which is a fiber used for kind of like as stucco, but it's breathable, and it's hyperallergenic.
Oh, wow.
It's lightweight. And the hemp stalk is used for so many different things. It's called a dual crop because the seed is edible. It's one of the superfoods. But then it's also that biomass. It can be used for biofuels.
Wow.
And we're doing bioplastics with hemp.
Wow.
So that's one of the things. This year's crop, we've got, we partner with another guy in California, and we have about 600 acres we're growing in Arizona, and then 600 over in the Fresno area in California. And one of our partner there has created this. He's taking old cotton gins that are no longer in use, and he's figured out a way to turn them into a decorticator for the hemp, which was one of the things keeping hemp from really, hitting the U.S. market. Because to buy or manufacture a decorticator, you'd have to get it from France. It's like $30 million. Wow. Well, he's relatively inexpensively converted this thing, and we've run it through, and it works. So now we have the ability to create that and bring it to different industries. We did the horse bedding industry, biofuel, to use batteries and all this other stuff. But that plastic might be another thing to use, and then you could maybe use that hempcrete in lieu of or with the concrete for your eco-friendly brick. So that's so basically you're just coming up with a way of using plastics, making a stronger brick, and then using it. And then is that brick kind of how you decided to jump in on the garden club?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to say garden club.
No,
we're
it's
not
okay.
clubs.
Yeah.
We're not really creating clubs. We are changing, we're tying in Arizona standard curriculum into, and then training teachers on how to do STEM teaching.
Yeah.
So it's not.
It is a bigger
club.
picture here.
Yeah,
yes, there's a much larger.
This is, and I think what we, and I think you might be the same way. I have a degree in engineering and architecture, but there's abstract thought, and then there's concrete thought.
Right.
Different concrete.
Right.
But concrete thought is what most of us gravitate toward, right? It's like, show me how to do it.
Yeah.
Rather than give me the formula and all of that.
Exactly.
I think, and I think most STEM teachers and believe is that you have to spur the curiosity.
Absolutely.
First.
Yeah.
This is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, how do I do it?
Right.
You just came up with, maybe now heat is a way that I can make it more dense, or I can make it work. So now you're going to look at, science and regarding how do you do that, and you don't want to, create fumes that are toxic or anything like that. So now you're starting to think, and that's what STEM is about,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And whether or not you end up as a pilot, or you end up in agriculture, or you could be in medicine or whatever. These are the things that
definitely
spur the curiosity, right?
Definitely.
So, okay, senior year. That means you've last year interviewed for colleges. I'm assuming you go to college.
No interviews yet. I'm scared of those. But if I were to be interviewed, it would be for Midwestern. But my application has to make it through.
So Midwestern is a grouping of colleges, if I remember right. Is that right?
So, well, I know that they have one location here, and then they have one location in Illinois. So that's
Oh,
funny,
okay.
but
That's
yeah.
an actual school then.
Yeah, it's
Because
the
there was a
private school.
grouping of colleges.
Oh, I think you may be referring to like the junior colleges.
No,
or-
it's regular
okay.
colleges, but they kind of grouped them. They were maybe not the big state schools.
Okay.
But actually, some of them were. And I can't remember, but it was like a Western affiliation of colleges or
Okay.
whatever. So
Yeah.
you get into one, you can get
Yeah.
into the others.
Right.
There's scholarship money and that kind of thing. So Midwestern. But you had talked before about UW.
Yes, that's I toured
and
that
U of A.
school and
Yeah. Oh, so you did do some tours.
Oh, I did.
Not interviews.
not interviews. No, I toured University of Washington. Beautiful campus. I love the expansiveness of it. At first, I was like intimidated by a big college, so coming from a small school to
Sure.
such a big college. But I felt very motivated to apply there. I liked their curriculums and what they had to offer. As for U of A, I did apply. I got some scholarships there. Just the hard part is moving out to Tucson, and it's expensive, and I'd be away from family.
Tucson's not as expensive as Seattle.
Correct.
Tucson's
but
less expensive than Phoenix.
yes,
Right.
but I think I'd be willing to
it's worth
spend
it.
more. Yeah,
If
I
it's
don't know
worth
if U of A's.
Yeah. So my son went to UW. I have a degree from University of New York, but also
Wow.
from ASU.
Wow.
And my daughter's went to USC, and then she just graduated from med school at U of A. So I think I've almost paid for all of the Pac-10 schools.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Good job,
but
Dad.
and so I have a different perspective on different things, on that. But Seattle's very expensive to live. It's beautiful, 3 or 4 months out of the year. The rest of the year it's a little gray. But great school. But these bigger schools are not always student centric. That's all I can tell you. But both of them got their degrees, and Sean has been building high rises
Wow.
in Seattle, and my daughter's a surgeon now
That's really cool.
Wow.
down in Tucson. But Tucson was really great. It's real cost effective to get housing down there, and
Yeah.
and I think they have a better ag than ASU. ASU doesn't really focus on that so much, but depends on what you don't know, and you don't need to know what you're going to do the rest of your life. As a matter of fact, in 20 years you might change careers.
Yeah.
But what are you gravitating toward
Right now, I was actually looking at aerospace initially for the longest time, but I kind of shifted more towards the pharmaceutical industry, specifically for the chemistry that's involved. And
You like chemistry.
I like
There's
chemistry.
only a certain brain that likes chemistry.
I like chemistry. I like math. I love STEM. I love it all. Except engineering. I don't know. I can't.
Well,
that's
engineering
hard.
is applied science,
it's
right?
like a general, but I think
Right.
let me put that into
Yeah, don't
context.
say that in front of the engineering teacher.
No. I mean, like, my dad, for example, he went to ASU and he majored in computer science and engineering, computer science or computer engineering.
Okay.
And he ended up not doing that at all. So,
That's what
props
most
to
of
you.
us do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
he
yeah.
just-
That's okay.
Clearly.
The training down the road sinks in.
The
Yeah.
experience.
The education and the experience.
Yeah.
The idea, I think, for college, the next level, and not everyone should do it. Not everyone really is, going to
Exactly.
do better by going there. It's just
It's not
no
for
stress.
everyone.
You put yourself in debt, whatever. But what I do think is that you're forced to balance.
Yeah.
You got to figure out how to pay for it. When
Yeah.
I was younger, I worked, and was able to pay for school as I went along because school was cheaper. Now the pricing of school it hasn't gone up through inflation. It's gone up through whatever other. It turned into an industry, a mill,
Exactly.
and everybody felt like they needed to go to college, and
Yeah.
not everybody. And I'm a big fan of the community colleges.
Yeah.
I was an adjunct professor in the past, and I think community colleges are great too.
Exactly, yeah.
But the cool thing about college is that you learn the most important thing in life, and that is delayed satisfaction.
Yep.
Instead of instantaneous.
Yep.
And we're in a world of instantaneous now.
Yes.
Social media, like I'm a firm believer TikTok is like the scourge of today's youth because it's addictive.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it
it's
can
all
be.
these hours, and they think they are becoming educated. You don't get educated by seeing a GIF for 5 seconds or
Yeah.
whatever. But
It's not educational
so
content.
so you have to put your life on hold for 4 years, or if you go to graduate school, it could be 6 years. Or
Yep.
my daughter went for 8 years. Now she's got 5 years of residency. That's 13 years of faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That somehow it's going to pay off, right? And in debt, you
Yeah.
know. And so, but that's what I think make tomorrow's leaders
Yeah.
is the ability to balance that and to be able to do that. And once you do that, shifting a career down the road, you use some of those resources to
Definitely.
go forward, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but let's go back to the aquarium space.
Oh, yeah.
Because I am
Yeah.
kind of curious. First of
Definitely.
all, why did you get into it? And
Why?
I love the term that it's an ecosystem because it
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really have to think of everything.
Definitely.
If you miss any part of that environment,
Yeah.
stuff dies.
Yeah. Thank you for asking me that. How did I get into it? So growing up, both of my parents had cancer 2 times. And in all of the cancer treatment centers, there were aquariums. So I spent most of my time doing all of my homework in front of an aquarium. And eventually, after my mom got sick because she had breast cancer when she had me, and I wasn't with her at all for like a good amount of months. So there were so many different people watching me and whatnot. It was easy for me, I guess, like the people that were watching me as a baby, to take me in front of the aquarium, and I would just stop crying. I would, it's there's an aspect to aquariums that are really good for your mind, your mental health. They connect you to nature. And coming from Chicago, growing up in the areas that I grew up in, I couldn't go outside too often. And this was one of the things that grounded me. It was nearly like my scope or my tool into the sciences. Yeah, my outlet, my creative outlet. And then I started expanding. I started realizing that there's an artistry behind it. I started researching other artists from all over the world, and I started adapting their artistry into mine, and I started taking it very serious. I started uploading my work to TikTok, which I know is a senseless
You
app.
got to use it. No, you got to. I mean, it's part
Yeah.
of today's reality.
Yeah.
That's how I
We
found
can't-
out
we
about
can't- yeah.
EcoBricks.
Exactly.
Right.
TikTok.
Yeah. So
you
there's
have to. It's part of today. But
Yeah, yeah.
The question is how do you control it?
Exactly.
Right?
So yeah, I just I'm into music, and I'm into aquariums and ecosystems. Essentially, I'm into traveling the most, and I'm able to create whatever type of ecosystem in my own home, in my own space, through a box that is either glass or acrylic. And I have been importing fish from all over the world for the past 15 years. My first job ever was an aquarium shop, and my first client ever was someone that imported freshwater stingrays for the first time. That was like a new thing. When I bumped into him, like my first day on the job, I think things just kind of shot up. I've worked under a lot of great aquaculture engineers, a lot of great aquarium designers. Actually, my mentor passed away during COVID, and I bought his business, and then I took over his accounts, and then which just kind of grew in Chicago from just a fish store, pet store, to a servicing business, and kind of like a cultural.
Is that still there?
It's
You
still
try to
there.
run it from here, or do you sell
So
that?
yeah, I have a lot of people that are in place that are running my operation. I also have 20 acres, so that's kind of, I've been talking to Kim about that with one of my buddies.
Back there or here?
Back home, an hour and 20 minutes from the Loop of Chicago. Yeah, so that's called BK Farms, Bush and Cash Farms. And my buddy from high school, actually, my best friend, We went in on 20 acres together, and now we're in lamb production. The whole farm is regenerative. We've got composts everywhere.
Wow.
So we got 3 emus the day before yesterday. So we're getting into emus. We've got goats, lambs, and we're getting into Angus.
Now you're going to do some of that here too?
Yes, I am. So I've started that. I just found out that I have some cousins in Arizona, and they're farmers as well. So farming is big in my family. Originally, we're from Louisiana, and my great uncle is the mayor, and he's a large cow farmer.
Crazy.
But yeah, I kind of grew up going back and forth from Louisiana to Chicago in my summers, and my grandmother would take me to different farms where we would collect our own food. When we go down south, my family, they'd have horses, they'd have cows, they'd have pigs.
And so you were in the right environment for curiosity
Exactly.
to take hold, and that's
Yep.
what the
Yep.
STEM schools are.
Yep.
And a ton of questions for you on what you just said, but
Yeah.
now your parents still alive?
So my parents are still alive. So,
Great.
it's important to not take cancer as like a death sentence, because I've seen them battle cancer twice. So this isn't a sob story. This is more of like a
Survivor's
encouraging.
story.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You ever read that book, Emperor of All Maladies?
No, but I need to. I need to improve all
it's
maladies.
it's like the book on cancer, the history and everything
Really?
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same author wrote a book, DNA,
Wow.
and he talked about kind of the history of the DNA science, right,
Mm-hmm.
which is really relatively new as well.
Wow, yeah,
And if you
yeah.
think in terms of the direction of agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
here nor there, and I look at everything not in black and white, but in
Right. Mm-hmm.
the gray, the world we're in. But we talk about GMOs,
Yeah.
GMO seeds, and probably a fair amount of what we eat is GMO, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have BT corn, which is a GMO product. They found in the soil. They found some active ingredients that fight off the insects that go after corn plants. And they found that in certain areas, and they've taken that gene and they've implanted it into corn so that now that corn doesn't can fight off those insects. So you're no longer spraying. So there's ups and downs there, right? It hasn't really been tested on humanity long enough to know that it's
Right,
healthy or not.
right.
But the yields are better. Corn tastes better. You're not spraying as many insecticides.
Right.
So there's some good benefits. But then the question is what are the negative things, right?
Exactly.
So we know that with hybridized wheats, that people are saying that there's more gluten with the corn, and all of that started with DNA research.
Yeah.
And it really, all of those products started in like the mid '90s, which
Yeah.
is for me like yesterday. For you, it's like, wow, that was like ancient history.
I'm glad that you brought that up, though, because a lot of times when people hear GMO, they instantly think that it's bad. But GMOs don't equate to, negative for our health. They actually equate to easier to grow where we are. For instance.
So we just don't know right now. The science
Exactly.
isn't completely
Yeah,
in, right?
yeah.
But if you look at a lot of the tampering of foods,
Right.
whether or not it's using an enriched wheat product that it doesn't use an heirloom seed,
Right.
and it creates more gluten. We know one thing: since the Industrial Revolution, or the Green Revolution, I should say, not the Industrial. It was that was probably the second or third Industrial Revolution in the '70s, late '60s, early '70s. We know that obesity and diabetes have skyrocketed, like a J-hook, in society,
Yeah.
right? So obviously it has to be the contribution. It's not really I don't believe a lifestyle thing so much as it is, what we've got on our fork. And whether or not it's the actual product being grown or it's how we're using that product that is, creating some of those
Yeah.
issues, right? So, but anyway, you see, I go in tangents.
Yeah, no, we're following you.
Yeah. good.
But it's I am kind of curious as to what you have going on. So, with the garden club, we've got only a few more months. So,
Right.
how are you gonna? What are you? You talked about photovoltaic, right, and some renewable. What are you doing with that? How is that
So
incorporated?
the agrovoltaics right now, Morgan Stern handed off this section of the project to me. And right now it's a bunch of testing to see what is the optimal angle of light for the optimal amount of energy. And he told me that magic number is 33 degrees because of the angle of the Earth and the way it rotates and the way that the sun.
So we call that the aperture of the.
Yes,
of
the
sun,
aperture
right?
of the sun. So messing with that, testing different light filters, if wind is a factor, if the temperature of the air is a factor. So a bunch of that right now. So a bunch of testing is where I'm at with that
that's
right
cool.
now.
We make our own solar arrays for projects in my landscape company to run controllers or lighting and that kind of thing. So we've learned a lot about that, and the improvements have been pretty amazing with solar. But I'd be curious to see what you build or what you talk about. And another interesting aside, my next meeting was just canceled, and I've got to reschedule. But Angus Mills and Caleb Adams are two big ag guys from UC Davis, and they're doing all kinds of wild stuff. They got a huge worm farm and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
heard about
interesting
them.
enough is he had a project that he was working with that was about 43 acres, and everybody, and I thought it was, who's your labor?
Right.
But the 24 people who are working on the farm are all PhD. Agronomists, chemists, biologists, and the stuff they had it's actually, for me, it's motivational. Because when I talk to those people, they're like, we can feed the world. Science is there.
Exactly.
We have the ability.
Yeah.
We can do so in a sustainable manner. They were using thermal heat because all the greenhouses, they were using solar. So they were 150% electric.
That is really cool.
So they were producing more than they were using.
Yeah.
But what was really kind of interesting is in the greenhouses, and I've seen sophisticated greenhouses.
Yeah.
One of my dreams is not an aquarium; it's like $1 million greenhouse. Right?
Yeah.
But in this greenhouse, I walk in and there's this big panel,
Yeah.
and all it had is all these formulas and coefficients, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
What exactly are you measuring here? But they didn't. I was like, well, the greenhouse, it opens up,
Right.
and it'll close, right? And you can let sunlight in or you can darken it,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, yeah, well, what they did was they streamed the spectrum of light, because certain light spectrums, red, are for growth of plants at certain times. So it wasn't just, oh yeah, letting light in or the aperture of the sun. It was literally streaming the right light,
Right.
because all color, all light is in the spectrum, right? So really cool. I was looking at another thing, saying, what's because I know that you're doing humidity, you're doing
Right.
temperature, and that's
Yeah.
like old stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he's telling me, well, this one's measuring the coefficient tension of water on a leaf.
Wow. That's deep.
So like,
Yeah.
so it's like, and what they were doing is producing some of their own mycorrhizae, either producing
the bacteria
all of
and
their
so
own organic fertilizers on site.
Really cool.
And recycling them through. And so it's all sensors everywhere. So we talk about STEM, we talk about the Internet of Everything, right?
Yeah,
And the ability to build these really sophisticated spaces that
Yeah.
can be indoors. They were using, like we have a Ready Go Garden bag system, which
Yeah.
is our soil blend, right? A true soil blend that I think is the best blend on the planet.
Yeah.
But it's literally all organic, and it's you can grow most plants right out of it without being a green thumb or whatever. He uses different substrates to grow a variety of berries, and he's the Wham Award winner. He grows marijuana, medical marijuana. They use centrifugal, these big glass centrifugal
Wow.
balls to help mix it. He uses cryogenics to separate the THC from the leaf.
Wow.
Which a lot of this is the problem I have with a lot of the vaping and stuff. I don't know how manufacturers. A lot of times they separate it using butane, which is not good for your body.
Yeah, that's gas.
So,
yeah.
Right. It's a dangerous
Yeah.
product for you to breathe in.
Right.
And that's what you're doing with it. So, the different things, but they do it to hopefully to advance medical science so that you're not taking opioids in the hospital.
Right.
You're using
Yeah.
different, solutions and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
it's a really kind of a cool thing
Yeah.
that he's doing. But I'm thinking, okay, solar.
Yeah.
Some lessons still that
We do have
go through, right?
we do have a big solar project happening at MIT actually. So the first aspect of the garden at MIT was actually the aquaponic garden that I installed, and we've all been kind of figuring out how can we make it specific to indoor growing so that we can have the most yield within MIT indoors, and then we're going to take it outdoors. When we take it outdoors, it's actually all the pumps are going to be ran off of a solar paneling unit. So the aquaponics unit will be ran off of, it'll be completely sustainable, off of energy from the sun, and the recirculating pumps will be used that way, and then the lighting that we'll be using will be essentially the sun. We've been doing research and also been hearing that natural sunlight produces the most natural fruits and vegetables, as opposed to the photo periods that you are essentially creating from LEDs or whatever
Sure.
it is that you're going to do.
And a lot of those solutions are synthetic solutions.
Exactly.
And they do that because a lot of times organic solutions clog up your
Yeah.
emitter systems and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then I did research on your bags through UFE's website and whatnot, and we've been talking. The thing that really interests me, and I'm excited to get my hands on those bags, and I'm excited to start growing outside of aquaponics, is the fact that your soil is USDA proven or something.
Omri and NOP certified.
Exactly. So we would then be growing fruits and vegetables that would be certified organically grown,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and when in the process, because the composting process kills pathogens, right?
Yep.
And we test so we don't have heavy metals, we don't have
Yeah.
any chemicals in
Yeah.
the pesticides or anything. So it's basically a sterile soil.
Yes.
Now, you think sterile, you think, oh,
Yeah.
nothing can grow. That's
Yeah.
not what it means. It means that you're not growing weeds, seeds,
Exactly.
because they've been killed off, and
Yeah.
you don't have fecal and E. coli
Yeah.
and things like that. And so now that soil is ready for the harvest. But yeah, a lot goes into
Yeah.
we have things to hold moisture like biochar and zeolite, and then we have to have drainage, so particle size matters.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it pretty much
Yeah.
anything grows.
So yeah,
Pretty
so
simply.
for it, essentially, we're looking to grow the cleanest fruits and vegetables, and we've looked up your bags, and we just see great, tremendous benefit in using your
The
bags.
only way you can really eat a clean product is to grow it yourself. You know it,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
The other thing is that if you don't eat a fruit or a vegetable within 24 hours of when it's picked, you lose most of the nutrient value.
Yes.
So even if you're going to a fancy organic store, and the ag system is really pretty good, commercial ag system.
Definitely, yeah.
You're getting stuff from the farm
Yeah.
to the store
Yeah.
relatively quickly in a
Yeah.
few days, right?
Yeah.
But still, a few days is a few days.
Yeah.
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 Better to walk into your garden and peel some
Exactly.
lettuce and take some onion
Yeah.
and tomato and
Yeah.
garlic or whatever you're growing, make your salad, 15 minutes after you've picked it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a great thing to be able to do. And,
Yeah.
and you're getting all your nutrient value. But
Exactly.
interesting that you're saying, because I've been, for the last several years, toying with the idea of going commercial with indoor grows with microgreens. And then you can also do some, we can do some larger shrubs like
Yeah.
lettuce and things like that. Although I don't know if that's cost effective.
Yeah.
But we're looking. So my aerospace engineers have designed a full facility. I just haven't pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
And inside you have to worry about cooling too. So we're there was a guy who came up with a chilling tower, different than a chilling system that
Yeah.
was super effective, cost effective. Still something I have on the back burner. It's just one of those things, you know.
Exactly.
You can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
But we wanted in half of the facility to grow mushrooms, and the other half to do the microgreens, because we can do an air exchange as we
Wow.
create carbon dioxide. We can use it on the
Yeah.
next, batch or whatever,
Yeah.
which would be a cool thing to do too. But
Yeah.
the nutrient value from fungi and mushrooms is super high, and it's completely different. It's not,
Definitely.
you're not using photosynthesis, it's cellular division
Yep.
for how those mushrooms grow. But they're more of almost an animal
Yeah.
than they would be a plant.
Mycelium is
But the mycelium
ridiculous.
is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's part of what we have in our soils.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you've taken, we have microscopes that we take out,
Mm-hmm.
and we can put them on the screen, but
Yeah.
especially with the worm compost.
Mm-hmm.
So compost has a lot of microbiology, but worm compost
Definitely.
has got a lot more.
Yeah.
And in it, you can actually see, there's probably in a handful of our worm compost about 2 billion
Wow.
organisms. So think about that. And
Yeah.
so these are kind of the starter organisms, and you're dealing with water, so
Yeah.
zooplankton.
Yeah, and anaerobic bacteria and things like
Right,
that.
and so there's all kinds of problems with plastic clothing,
Yeah.
because it ends up in our water supply, and then the food chain starts eating, thinking it's a zooplankton, that
Definitely.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. When you come by, meet up with Hasiel,
Okay.
and have him show you some of the things we've
I'm
been
excited.
working on.
Yeah.
I have another friend that, and he's finally put it in operation. He's created an indoor fodder system. So he's growing hydroponically, but he created a gravity-fed setup. It's a big
Wow.
crack where he's growing barley, and it's a higher protein level. It's the same thing, though. Sensors and controllers that'll,
Yeah.
you can, definitely more sophisticated than what they launched to go to the moon.
Yeah, yeah.
Back 50 years ago, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, in over a period of a time, that comes out the other end, and then
Mm-hmm.
they harvest it and they feed it. So they're doing it on site for farm. I think he found a farm maybe in Indiana or Illinois.
Yeah.
That's using it.
Okay.
He's had the prototype for years, but it's
Yeah.
finally because now you can grow indoors.
Yeah.
And especially in a place like Illinois, where it's most of the year you can't grow.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting that you brought up you're finding ways to cool off your greenhouses here in Illinois. I'm part of it's called Metro Farms. So it's essentially a very large aquaponics facility. They grow fruits and vegetables.
There's one down in Tucson too.
Really? I'll have to check them out.
It's not Tucson, but it's weird as it is I had a pilot years ago, and he's done everything under the sun, you can imagine. But he grew up on a ranch and a farm,
Yeah.
and now he's an ag teacher. I can't even remember, but it might be down near Wilcox.
Okay.
That's where we do all of our wine.
Okay. I just got back from Tucson this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, it was my first time there.
I got to
Yeah.
look Richard up, and because I know he was doing some cool stuff. With
Yeah,
hydroponics.
I'd love to
That
check him out.
It was ecosystem type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're doing these aquariums, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I had an aquarium when I built a big house, and I decided I wanted the look of it, the whole wall. was an
Yeah,
aquarium.
yeah.
I ended up donating it to the Phoenix Zoo. The
Oh,
problem
man.
is it was so sophisticated.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really want the hobby. I just wanted the look.
Yeah,
And
there's a
mine
lot
was the
that comes into
saltwater,
it.
so I had the corals, and I swear every time I'd go out of town, which is a lot,
Yeah.
I'd come back and the whole thing would be
Yeah,
$2,000 worth of corals
Oh, yeah,
dead, and all
yeah.
these fish are dead, and
Yeah.
because I don't know, we had some kind of carbon thing going on, and the filters, and
could be a million things.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And, so just the circuit would pop off or
Yeah.
something for the system.
Yeah.
But what we are kind of interested in, and I don't know if you do it for reptiles or
Oh yeah, yeah. Terrariums,
terrarium.
Yeah,
Rather, that's
yeah,
what that is
yeah.
instead of an aquarium.
bio terrariums. So I actually I owned a reptile store also. So it was reptile fish. So they go hand in hand. When I import fish, I can also import reptiles in the same box. But essentially, yeah, and that's kind of on the rise as well right now. Bioactive terrariums that you don't have to clean up after. You put different types of isopods and different types of bugs, essentially, that eat reptile poop and decay and things like
it's
that.
part of that whole food chain thing, right?
Yeah.
And I've looked at it, and I brought like Joe and someone else over to the aquarium store, and then went to an acrylics place.
Yes.
And oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't want to train them to do that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
light years above their ability to do. But now we've got
You've got me,
partner.
I actually design exhibits, so I typically don't do aquariums under 300 gallons. So on average, it's 1,200 plus. So I work hand in hand, people that actually install, design, or I design, install, and manufacture the large scale aquariums, and I come in and I beautify it, or I make it better, or I make it more natural.
I want to just be able to go mobile and go to schools and show them how the worms are, going down. And maybe having nematodes in.
I have a design for.
Then tie that in with the microscope.
Exactly.
So people can see it.
I have an aquarium on wheels for you. So just give me a call. We can take it into hospitals. You can take it into educational facilities, schools, you name it. You can take it.
Okay. So our projects going forward with UFE, what do you see happening there?
I see a lot of growth, but essentially we wanted to utilize our space so that we can help people within the community, because Arizona has such a high homeless population.
Oh, sure.
So after we figure out how much we need to grow and how we're going to grow it and how it grows on the side of our school and inside with the space that we have to utilize, we're going to first feed our students, and then we're going to start looking into the leftovers and what we can do with that, who we can donate it to.
So I've got
within the
80% of my book on urban farming done.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm dropped back to do vermicompost book and compost book.
Okay.
I have another one that's the overarching systems of agriculture. But the urban farming one, I've got a lot of those calculations.
Okay.
So I have an idea about yield.
Okay.
And how you can do it. I don't know how many acres do you have acreage?
So
there, or is it
here
all
at the
indoors?
school, we've got spaces and lots,
Yeah.
if you will. We definitely are sitting on a lot of acres. Absolutely. MIT is constantly being built. They're working on their fitness facilities right now. They just finished their tennis courts. Everything that they have at MIT is world class. They've got a medical center. They're building a hospital so that kids can actually get hands-on experience. This is definitely a next level school, yeah.
Cool.
And so this is the first glimpse of agriculture that we're actually.
Well, I'll take a drive down. I'll have my daughter and her boyfriend. He's a PhD MD.
Oh, wow.
And I'll have them come up and
Please do.
look at your facility and what my daughter was in high school, won some kind of award and worked at TGen downtown.
Wow.
That was her high school thing, and
Wow.
then she went to USC, and I think she was computational neuroscience or something like that. But
Wow.
she's got an idea of the labs. I wanted her to be a lab person. She
Yeah.
work on people, but her boyfriend is definitely more of that science.
Yeah. So we're
research type.
essentially looking to partner with anyone that can bring more to this project. Yeah, in terms of wisdom, in terms of resources, we just essentially want to show our students how to be self-sustainable.
So we're going to wrap up for the month of May.
Okay.
With whatever we can get done between now and then.
Yeah.
And then dial into your school program.
Cool.
What are you doing? What do you got going? Have you applied to a bunch of schools?
Well,
You should be finding out. Right?
Yeah, soon, very soon. By the 15th, I should know if I got into UW. So I'm like so nervous about that.
That's an expensive school.
But Yeah.
I would
But
recommend U of A.
I did
Yeah.
find
I
out.
paid for them both.
Yeah, good things are coming.
I did find out about U of A accepted in a good scholarship from them as well.
Yeah,
and
that's
a
the thing.
scholarship
Congrats,
from
That matters.
ASU. But while I was applying to schools, I was going in between pharmacy and applied physics. So I applied to USA for applied physics, and I got a scholarship for that.
So here's what I can tell you is that my son was a rower, NCAA rower.
Wow.
And that's super tiring and time consuming. He had thought he was going to go into pre-med and become a doctor, but we all knew that wasn't good. He doesn't like blood. He didn't have that curiosity about that or helping people or anything like that. But but the idea of balancing, sports and a high level degree is really difficult. In a school like UW, if your GPA drops down under a 3.9, it's near impossible to transfer into a different department.
Wow.
So that's something you got to think of. If you start in pharmacy, get good grades, maybe a 3.5, 3.6, and then you want to go into medicine or biology or something like that, it's really, really hard to make that transition in a place like UW. That's my only thing. And for you UW grads, the fact that I don't think it's super student-centric, write letters, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you
Definitely
very
want to
much.
look forward to following your career path and what you've got going on in
Thank you,
Arizona.
thank
I thank my guests, David,
You got it?
Zachary Bush,
There you go.
Liliana Campos.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
you
thank
would not
you.
be the first names I messed up.
Hey, it's okay.
So I
It's
appreciate
okay.
you being here, and thank you very much.
appreciate
and,
you.
Look forward to working more with you guys on your projects.
Absolutely.
For
Thanks for having
your
me.
wise words.
No, you're wise. I'm just asking questions. Thank you for joining the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Click subscribe and like for ongoing insightful conversations. Explore our webpage for show notes and additional resources. Visit our guests' webpage for deeper insights. Your engagement is the foundation of our journey, and until next time, keep pursuing wisdom.